to all of those that are here. Assalamu alaikum, welcome. So what we're going to be speaking about today is variants of the New Testament. What are variants? Why are they significant? What they mean from a theological perspective, and what it means for Christians overall, right? And what it means for us and how we can use it in our da'wah. So hopefully you've got your notes ready, pen and paper. If you have questions, by all means, you'll be given the opportunity to ask. So Ali, I'll pass it over to you, inshallah. I'll go quiet. And then
I want to talk about two things, which is easy to understand and which is relevant for any religion. One of them is salvation, right? One of them is salvation. And the other one, the religious leader which you are following, what did he say? If you don't know what he has spoken, how could you follow him? And if we see that other people are putting words in his mouth, are we gonna follow that which we know is a forgery or not? So it is important to know what we are following, where did it come from? Many times if we talk to this Christian, why did God have to become a man and be hanged on a tree and according to the Old Testament be a curse that you should not be a curse? Why did he do that? They turn around and they be telling you he came to save that which was lost. What was lost? They go to whole story about the original sin and whatnot. Akhi, could you read a verse of the Bible? Go to King James, the Gospel of Matthew,
Sure.
chapter 18, verse 11.
For the Son of Man is to come to save that which was lost.
So you see, Jesus is speaking here, is telling them he came to save which was lost. And today Christians say, you see, you believe in Jesus. You believe in Jesus. Your Quran is conforming the Bible. They be telling us, look what Jesus said. He came to save which was lost. Means original sin and whatnot. They go to the whole story. Akhi, I'll just send you a couple of screenshots. Could you go to the first one which I sent you?
There you go.
Barakallahu fik. This is NA 28, Nestle Alan 28. This is a recension which is in about 2012 or something. They came with it. Verse 10, and it goes to verse 12. Hey, what happened to verse 11? It was talking about your salvation. It was talking about the words of the beloved Christ. It was telling you what Jesus spoke. You be telling me you should believe in Jesus. Yet, in NA 28, there is no such a thing as Jesus came to save which was lost. You see that? Akhi, the latter part of the page, could you make it bigger? I cannot read it like this. All of them lines, in the first line which is red and second line, are all of the manuscripts which have this addition. You see D, K, L, N. You see them? In all of these manuscripts, this addition is in there. But Akhi, go to the right. To the left, my bad. The other right, yes. You see the text says Aleph, B, L. You see that? Theta. Yes, that means the text which they are using comes from Codex Aleph, that is Sinaiticus. B is Vaticanus, you see? And they go to family 3 and 30, which is a very important family. So in this, no such a thing as Jesus speaking there. No such a thing as Jesus coming to save what was lost. Okay, go to the next screenshot which I sent you. Yes, you see, this is another ascension of Nestle Alan 28, which tells you what the church fathers were talking about. Right? Okay, you see? B, omit verse. Hey, what is happening here? There is also no 11 here, you see? And they go on to say, John Chrysostomos, Hilary, you see that? These people, they have these additions, which the earliest one doesn't have. Go to the next one, inshallah. for the Son of Man is come to save that which was lost. All of the manuscript on the left, you see that? D, E, F, G, all of them, they have it. Yet if you go to the right, you see, NIV, for example, does not even contain this verse. And they are using these manuscripts on the right. You see that? Okay, go to the next one.
Sorry, these ones don't have this verse, but these ones don't.
Yes, and these on the right are the earlier
Right.
and more trustworthy than the other ones. For example, this family tree.
Oh, so this would be the Sinaiticus Vaticanus, so on and so forth, yeah?
Yes, but also the family. You see the family
Understood.
113? This is one of the important manuscripts.
No,
Yes.
cool.
And
Here's
here,
the next one.
we have here Tatian, you see, Diatessaron. Diatessaron contains it, yet no other text of early Christianity before Codex D has it. Where does all of these sayings of beloved Christ come from? Who is putting all of these words in his beloved mouth? You see that? Okay, go to the next one. This is the recension of Vescott and Hort, which is made about 1880 or something at the end of the 19th century. This is exactly the text, by the way, which is NIV based on. NIV, ESV are based on this text. You see the Greek? This is what NIV has translated. Akhi, see on the right. It goes from 10 to 11 to 12. There is no 11 here. You see that? Go to the next one.
Oh, yeah, right there. 10, 12, no, 11.
Yes.
This one?
You see, yeah.
Yep.
You see verse 11. They said it omits verse. What is omitting verses here? They give you Sinaiticus, Vaticanus, you see? But if you go to the other variant behind it, which has TR, which is Textus Receptus, for example, which you read, you see, has all of these additions in it. And okay, please read the text which is marked in red.
This one?
Yes.
This part? Okay, no problem. The absence of this verse in several important and diverse witnesses attests to the fact that it was not part of the original text of Matthew. It was borrowed from Luke 19, verse 10, a passage not at all parallel to this one. Most likely the edition first appeared in the shorter form variant 1 and was later expanded to the longer form variant 2, which concurs exactly with Luke 19:10. The manuscript L demonstrates all three phases. L omits the verse, L has the shorter form of the edition, and L has the longer form. Very likely this verse was inserted in Matthew 18 to provide some sort of bridge between verses 10 and 12. In other words, a scribe perceived there was a semantic gap that needed filling. Luke's 19:10 was used to introduce the illustration of the shepherd seeking out his lost sheep. The longer form also speaks of the seeking out, which makes the connection even clearer. However, the text must be read without the bridge that 18:11 provides. Verse 12 follows verse 10 in the original, and that it provides yet another reason for why little ones who will be in Jesus should not be despised. The shepherd is concerned for each and every sheep in the flock. In the flock of 100 sheep, even if one leaves, he will seek it out and find it.
So you see, Akhi, this part is not original to the text of Matthew, and they go through the whole explanation how it originated, how the scribe came with it. They are taking another story which is not at parallel with this one. They are making their own story about the beloved Christ. You see that? And these Christians today come to us, they say, oh, you should believe in Jesus. He said it, yet he didn't. You see that? So this is how they are making all of this forgery. Okay, go to the next screenshot.
Boom.
Yes.
This one?
See, Akhi, Sinaiticus. It has 10. It is a scriptio continua, as you see, goes from 10 to 12. So we have here the actual manuscript. It does not have verse 11. It does not have Jesus came to save which was lost. They are making up words and they are putting it in the mouth of the beloved Christ. Go to the next one, inshallah. You see, Akhi, this is Codex 3, which is Vaticanus. Same thing, you see?
10, 12.
So there is no lacuna, this is no missing text, this is, you see that? This is actually textual, which is continuous, yet these missing words of the beloved Christ are not in there. It is not a singular reading, it is not a singular manuscript which don't have it. These are continuous texts. Go to the next one, Akhi, let's see. You see, this is the New English translation, on which, by the way, Daniel Wallace worked on. Okay, could you read it?
The NET. The most important means the Alif, B, and L, and the family that you were speaking about, all of this, do not include Matthew 8:11, for the Son of Man came to save the lost. The verse is included in D, L, and so on and so forth manuscripts, but is almost certainly not original. Certainly not original.
So when God Logic came to talk to us, your Quran is conforming the Bible. What did I ask him? Sure, which Bible is the Quran conforming? Is it Vescat and Hort which the Quran is conforming? Akhi, you went to that. It did not have this verse. I asked them, is it NA2A which my Quran is conforming? We showed that it does not have this verse. I asked them, is UBS the one you are referring to? Okay, go to the next one. This is UBS, which I asked them. He didn't know what I was talking about. You see, this is what Bruce Metzger is writing. Could you read it?
That's the United Bible Society's one,
Yes.
right? Yeah, the UBS. So he, being admitted by the earliest witnesses, hold on, let me just, so everyone can read it. He, being admitted by the earliest witnesses representing several textual types, Alexandrian, pre-Caesarean, Egyptian, and Antiochian.
Yes.
Right? And manifestly borrowed by copyists from LK 1910, or Luke 1910. The reason for the interpolation was apparent to provide a connection between verse 10 and 12 to 14.
You see, Akhi, when we are telling them, you have to validate that the beloved Christ spoke those words which you are referring to in the Bible. You cannot just come and tell us, oh, Jesus said it. Hey, what do you mean Jesus said it? We have here words of his which we cannot find anywhere in early Christianity. All of a sudden, in later centuries, you are finding it. And you see, the scholars are telling us, these are not Muslims. These are telling us this is an interpolation. It's definitely not original. Right, Akhi? Go to the next one, inshallah. Akhi, read this one.
What's this one?
This is also from textual commentary of Matthew. This is Bruce Metzger on page 13. Could you read it?
There can be little doubt that the words that, obviously referring to Matthew 18:11, right, are spurious he, being absent from the earliest witnesses representing several textual types, Alexandrian, Egyptian, and Antiochian. The manifestly borrowed by the copyists from Luke 19:10. The reason for the interpolation was apparent to provide a connection between verse 10 and verse 12 to 14. Again,
Akhi,
same
any
thing.
text which contains interpolation, is that text corrupted or not?
Yes,
right?
of course.
They come to us and say, oh, it doesn't matter. Hey, what do you mean it doesn't matter? They say Jesus was still crucified. Doesn't matter anything, all of them details that could vary, yet our theology doesn't change. Was this our claim? What are we talking about? Oh, the theology of the Christian, which every Christian has his own theology. We were talking about changing of the text, interpolation, as you see, the insertion of something of a different nature into something else, which means it was not original. You see that? So our claim that the text has been corrupted is valid and can be shown by objective evidence. Whatever your theology is, good luck with that. No theology of nobody is only based on one verse of the Bible or something. Wallahi, think about it, akhi. This is an example which Bart Ehrman uses. Bart Ehrman says, think about it. One day, you are waking up and you go through your whole Bible and the whole Gospel of Mark is missing. The whole Gospel. Now, he says, does the Christian theology change in any way? Yet there are other books in the Bible which tell you Jesus was crucified, he was resurrected, Paul came along, all of them teachings, right? So he says you remove the whole book of Mark, the Christian theology doesn't change. Yet, is it a corruption? He says yes. Is it significant? He says yes. So this idea of, oh, it doesn't change my theology is just ad hoc argument. It doesn't even matter. Good luck with any theology which you have. We are showing the corruption of the text. And as you saw, Matthew chapter 18, verse 11, and we went through the scholars which they are given, through the eclectic text and the primary manuscripts, right?
Question. For people that may or may not know, what is the eclectic text if you were to give a very simple response?
Sure. You see, eclectic text is actually something which you can call a guesswork, an educated guesswork. They have couple of criteria to say what text could be original. I'm not sure if you have the UBS. By every verse you see a letter C or a B or a A or a D, okay? So they go through all of the manuscripts and they see which one is earlier. But just because something is early doesn't necessitate to be original. Does it have continuity? After that, is it something which they call lectio difficultor or lectio brevior? Is it the shorter reading or is it the difficult reading? You understand? So they have couple of methodologies and they go with these methodologies through all of the manuscripts and text variants. These Christians be telling us, oh, the majority text, the majority text. It doesn't mean nothing. The majority text, all of them, comes after the 9th century and on. The earliest attestation of the majority text is Codex D, in which the book of Acts has 10% more text than the earliest recensions. Think about it.
Wow. So basically, the eclectic text basically is just a bunch of scholars or theologians sitting down, looking at all of the manuscripts, and based on a particular criteria, they go, this one's the most accurate. So we're going to put this one in our Bible, as opposed to the others. Correct?
Exactly. This is why they be updating the Bible.
Okay. I didn't want to interject, sidetrack the conversation, but just in case people...
No, it's a beautiful question. You see, these Christians come to us, they say, even your Quran has so many translations. So many translations. But we are not talking about translations. When we are talking about updating the Bible, wallahi, we are not referring to translations. I have no issue with any translation which gets updated. Language is a living thing. You need to update the language. I have no issue with that. We are talking about the ground text of the Bible, which these translations use to translate. That text has been updated. You see, they are busy with Nestle Aland 29 recension, which means this 28 one, which we are using, when they come with the other one, has other additions and omissions in it. You see, this is the updating of the Bible. Okay, this was the first example of Matthew 18.
Yep.
I want to talk about another example.
Read an
We do
example.
the same. We go through this evidence to see what is original and what the scholars are telling. This is from Gospel of Luke, chapter 9, verse 55 and 56.